Real Life, Real Crime is a true crime podcast brought to you weekly by Woody Overton, Jim Rathman, and executive producer Toby Tomplay.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney prior to and during any questioning. You can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. You understand your rights?
Your crime spree was over, son. Yeah, you thought you had it licked, but Hitman in Overton made you shoulda turned to shit. Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.
Warning. Each episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, may contain descriptions of acts of violence or of a sexual nature and is intended for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. Jim and I do not get the facts of these cases off of the internet or from some television show. The facts I'm retelling were told to us by the victims of the crimes or the perpetrators who committed the crimes against the victim. My description of the crime scenes are what I saw with my own two eyes. If you're going to get offended, please turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. Jim, the Hitman Rathman, is not going to be in the studio with me today, but I do have a very special guest. But first and foremost, for all you lifers out there, I want you to understand, we will always continue to seek justice for Courtney Coco. We work on her case every day, and we're not going to quit until the arrests are made. We haven't forgotten about it, and we will continue to work on it. So keep that in mind. Having said that, we're going to be starting a new series, and I'm going to call it What Happened to Barbara Blunt. And very special guest in the studio today to help start this series. And y'all know we're raw and unscripted, and so just bear with me and we'll bounce around a little bit. But my guest is the Honorable Sheriff Sheriff Ard, who is the Sheriff of Livingston Parish. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Woody.
Hey, thank you for being here. It's a real pleasure. Everybody, before we get into the base facts of the case, I want to take a minute and talk to Sheriff Ard. Listeners, I know that when most people think of the sheriffs, or you think of a politician, or you think they may have some law enforcement experience, et cetera. Like, I've worked with sheriffs when I was with state police, and I worked with different offices all over the state, and some sheriffs had some law enforcement experience, some were retired troopers, whatever. But I think what makes Sheriff Ard unique is, and now I know his history, is his experience in a law enforcement field, and it's not just a politician. So, Sheriff, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but if you don't mind, can you tell us about your career? I think the reason I'm doing this is because I know it's unique, and I want the people to understand that you're not just a politician.
I do like that, because I don't like people to know me as a politician.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, it comes with the job whenever you run for sheriff.
Right.
But I started my career at the sheriff's office in 1993, and fresh out of high school.
Right.
Didn't really know anything. The only reason I was drawn to law enforcement is because before that I was a cadet in the Dillon Springs Police Department as a teenager, right, and I just fell in love with it. Right. But I went to work at the Livingston Parish Detention Center, and back then it was the Parish Jail.
Right.
And I worked there for about 3 years, and then not long after that I was actually pulled to go on the street. Worked the street as a road deputy for about 2 years, and I was promoted as the supervisor over the road. And that was going to be in about 97.
Okay.
And worked in that capacity for another 2.5 years, and then was moved into detective division.
Right.
And I think during that time was probably when you probably came on board, I would think, as a road deputy.
Right.
And but I left, worked on the street for a while, and then I left, went, like I said, with the detectives, and then was in detectives for a couple of years, and was promoted to, I say promoted, I was actually moved into the training division,
right.
Where I actually took on the role of a training officer as well as the full-time SWAT commander.
Right. In fact, you started this.
I did. Actually, back in
SWAT team.
'97, when I was a patrol supervisor, we started kind of touring around with trying to start some kind of SWAT team, because we didn't have one. And at the time, we had some, I can't recall the officer's name right off my hand. I hate that I can't recall his name, but there was an officer that was killed. He was a narcotic officer in Baton Rouge doing a search warrant.
Right.
And we were starting to have a lot of search warrants in Livingston, and we just felt like it was time to make a change. And so went to the sheriff at the time, and he allowed me to start doing some research and sent me to training all over, and we created our SWAT team in '97. So I did that for several years, as well as training up until the year of '08. And so that wasn't long after Katrina, which was in '05. I was moved to the courthouse and was made the chief operations.
Right.
And then from '08, I'm sorry, that was in '06. It was right after Hurricane Katrina. I was chief operations. And in '08 is whenever I was promoted to chief deputy.
Right.
And then, of course, in 2011, the sheriff approached me about running for sheriff. He was ready to retire. And in 2012, I was sworn in as sheriff.
Right.
Livingston Parish. So today, as I'm sitting here, I'm finishing up my 28th year at the sheriff's office.
That's amazing.
What I've done my whole life.
Right.
And
let me say this, Sheriff. I mean, to cover it, basically, y'all, he's done everything from jail guard to working the street, answering the calls, dealing with the public on a daily basis, everything that y'all have heard me talk about in past episodes, to detectives, and then supervisor positions. And when you're out doing the training and everything, that's all aspects of training for everybody in law enforcement. That's not just firearms training. It's whatever classes, advanced classes, and people are coming through. He had his hands on it every day. Then getting into the chief operations, or before chief deputy, you got into the almost what we call the coat and tie side of things, right? And supervising, that really takes your aspects. So you've covered and touched every single aspect of the department before you were sheriff.
Right.
And it's safe to say, you're coming up on the 30 years that you dedicate your whole life to protecting and servicing the citizens of Livingston Parish.
It is without a doubt.
That's what you do.
That's what life. I do. It's I mean, I don't know anything else.
I was fixing to say, if you took that away from you, who would you be, right? You wouldn't. That's who defines you at this point.
Right. And I take it to heart, because I truly love my parish. I was born here, raised here, and I truly love Livingston Parish, the community, and I love what I do. I love being a part of the sheriff's office, and I tell my deputies all the time, I'm just a name and a face.
Right.
And the reason I tell them that is because I was in their shoes, and I know what it's like to have boots on the ground. I know it's right to have the vehicle pursuits, the foot pursuits, and having to, stay up all hours of the night, and sometimes go 48 hours trying to get a crime solved just because you want to bring closure to that family.
You know what it's like to catch a 30-minute nap on top of your desk.
That's right. That's right. And we take these cases serious, because I always say this: our deputies live in Livingston Parish. Their kids go to school in this parish. They have friends. We're so intertwined. We're so connected.
Right.
And when we have these type of crimes, any type of crime, but homicides, and we take them personally because we feel like it's in our backyard.
Right.
And it really is. It's in our backyard.
Right. And I think that's what sets the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office apart. And I've talked about that in the past. It's the people, the family aspect of it is very real, but that shows in y'all's level of professionalism, et cetera. But thank you for that. I just want y'all listeners to understand if you could go out and find another sheriff in the state of Louisiana that has had his toes in every aspect of the job, I want to meet him, because this is the only one that I know. But okay, Sheriff, we're here today about Miss Barbara Blunt. Now, I want to talk to her about a second. I started getting calls on Miss Barbara Blunt like almost after we dropped our first episode, and I knew a little bit about the case from the news media. I had gone on from the department by that time, but she must have been something really special, because everybody just reached out to me. They're all different people, right? And I don't know that much about her yet, and we're going to get with the family next week, hopefully, and talk with them so we can let them tell about Miss Barbara and what kind of lady she was, et cetera. But there's so much interest in this case from so many different people, and it got to the point where, especially when we started doing the Courtney Coco series, and people were listening to episodes, and they really started blowing me out. I was like, "Hey, call your sheriff," you know. And so, but this is unique, and I didn't know that it was actually a term. It's called crowdsourcing, and until we did the Courtney Coco case, and there's not many people have ever taken this venue of reaching outside the normal channels other than Crime Stoppers or whatever, reaching outside the normal channels and using the public and the listeners to help solve crimes. But it's, it's a very real thing, and these people are very passionate about it. And we get people from all over the world. Like on the Coco case, you would think it was their sister, but the angle being that a lot of people, for whatever reason, will come forward and say things anonymous or say things to us that they won't say to law enforcement, and which I thought was so crazy. I never would have thought it would have been like that. But I'm gonna say this: Sheriff Ard really has opened up, and I'd say red carpet treatment, but he's opened up the doors and let us come in. Full access to the case file, et cetera. And I'm going to tell you this, my preliminary review of the file and meeting with the deputies that worked the case, and including Sheriff Ard. And Sheriff, during this time, you weren't just sitting in the office on this case, right? But I went through y'all, and there's not one single thing that I would have done different. In fact, I was amazed by the outside the box thinking that your guys did and you did to go outside the box before this even. Mm-hmm. And so this is totally different than the Coco case. This is the finest example of law enforcement work that could be done. And so we all know getting into credit card debt is easy. Thankfully, now there's Upstart.com, the revolutionary lending platform that knows you're more than just your credit score. I've had credit card debt before, and I wish I'd had Upstart.com to help me. Upstart believes you're more than just your credit score. They believe in you. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate. Since it's just a soft pull, it won't affect your credit score. Over 400,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards or meet their financial goals. Free yourself from the burden of high-interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. See why Upstart is top-ranked in their category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/RLRC to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes. That's upstart.com/RLRC. When we're dealing with this case, you remember this is different. We have the access. We have the level of professionalism. There's no negativity, no shadiness or anything. This is strictly just a tough deal. Now, when you have cases, you can have, there's two ends of the spectrum. There can be a case where literally the officer could be on scene and see somebody kill somebody, a smoking gun, and you have all the evidence, video, everything in the world, just a perfect, and then get confessions. I mean, where everything can go absolutely perfect. But then for everything there's an opposite. And I would say Miss Barbara Blunt's case is the total opposite. I would call it a ghost case. And I'm going to let Sheriff talk about it for a minute. But y'all, we got to have it, your help. But this case is just, for lack of a better word, it's bizarre.
It really is.
Sheriff, can you just tell us a little bit about it?
Well, you know, I'm proud to say I don't have very many cases that haunt me. That actually bother me, and sometimes that will keep you up at night.
Sure.
And I know that a lot of the detectives that worked on this case share the same feeling I do, that this case really bothered us. I mean, they all do, but this one was unique, and and the fact where you have a lady like Miss Barbara that is very loved by her family. Mm-hmm. She has she's a Christian lady that's thought very highly. People think very highly of her, and you know, she comes up missing. And there is no crime scene. And when I say that, I mean, even we had the FBI come in. It's the cleanest crime scene I've ever seen. And then things worked against us on this case.
It seemed like everything worked against you.
It was. It was just like it was just
a perfect storm.
Normally, whenever you work in a case, you go from, you know, you find the first little bit of evidence, and that leads to another piece of evidence, and then you start to put these pieces of the puzzle together. And we couldn't even find a piece of a puzzle. I mean, it was just very puzzling to everybody. It was, what is going on here? And the really unique thing that happened to us was we find Miss Barbara Blunt. She's missing. We start looking for her, obviously, looking for whatever we could find. We find her vehicle not far from her home, parked on a road. And by the time we get our crime unit out to where the vehicle is, water has came. Now nature's kicked in, Mother Nature, and we have water rising. And basically we had water inside the vehicle before we can get it hooked onto a wrecker. I mean, it was that crazy. And so we did a lot of searches, and we've you know, DNA samples. I mean, we've done a lot with this case.
Yeah, let me back it up for a second. I think it was May 2nd, 2008.
Yes.
Miss Barbara Blunt lived, and I saw all the photographs at home. I haven't been there yet, but I plan to go there, y'all. This house is a nice house, very well kept. I mean, I was almost like OCD kept. It was so clean.
Yes,
things
clean.
are so neat, and it was during the daytime that she went missing, and just other than a couple items, and I'll get into it on later episodes. It appeared she was doing some type of spring cleaning, and then she's gone. And then I think y'all responded, and a short time later, her vehicle was found on a hunting.
It was a hunt, some hunting lease.
But then, y'all, the weather, they said, just the bottom fell out. Like 12 inches of rain in a matter of hours, and flash flooding comes through. I mean, and they're trying to work even the vehicle at this time, so it can't catch a break, but nothing. And now and we'll get into I'll get into the details on later episodes, but the things that they've done to go outside the box to investigate this case are pretty much just simply genius, on top of what you do on a regular case, right? But still, and I shouldn't feel bad by using the term. It sounds kind of harsh, but it's a ghost. I mean, it literally.
It really is. It's like I said. I mean, look, we get a lot of tips on Barbara Blunt, and I'd say yearly we get tips, and we may get a name, or we may get some other information, and you've looked at the file. We follow up on that, and we went to the extreme.
Right. I know.
I'm reaching out, and that's why we're here in the studio today. Is for that purpose.
Right. And so, y'all, Miss Blunt's been declared legally dead by now, and of course, you can't say one way or another if it's a homicide or anything like that, because you don't have any evidence. But she's gone. The vehicle's moved, etc. So, but lifers, somebody out there knows something, and if we could call it a crime, then I always say, and Sheriff, I know you know this, there's no such thing as a perfect crime. At some point, somebody's going to mess up along the way, right?
Correct.
But it's been, 12 years, going on 11, 12 years, something like that. And people get older. They mature. You may have heard something back in the day or over the years or whatever and not come forward. And hey, we get that. If you know that there's a killer out there and you don't want to come forward, then I get that. But you can call it in, and we'll get into all the details in later episodes, et cetera. But we need y'all's help. Somebody out there knows what happened to Miss Barbara Blunt, and we've got to do it, lifers. You can pull it together. We did it before. We can do it again, and this family deserves closure.
And that's my only goal. I really want to get this family closure.
Right.
They deserve that, and somebody does. They know what happened.
Absolutely.
And we have to do whatever we can do to reach out. And you said it earlier, and I can't really wrap my finger around it either. But there's people that don't want to talk to law enforcement.
Right.
And a part of me understand that.
Right.
And so that's why I came to you.
Yeah.
And if they'll reach out to you, let them reach out to you.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I'm okay, whatever. Because again, at the end of the day, I just want to solve this for this family because they deserve this.
That's it. You just gave me goosebumps. I can see the passion in your face, and you're right. And it's not about who solves it; it's about getting it solved.
Getting
right?
it solved.
And so,
That's the main
lifers, you got to appreciate. I appreciate you giving us a chance to reach out and do this. And it's unheard of for law enforcement to reach out to a podcast to help solve a cold case. And I think it's genius because we have such a huge fan base of lifers in this area. And at the end of the day, it's our joint mission to find out what happened to Miss Barbara Blunt. And crowdsourcing again. And lifers, as the episodes go on, just like in Coco's case, as the weeks go on and the word spreads and the word gets out about this, more people are going to listen. And the people who did this, the people who know, are going to listen. And they'll probably be the first one to listen every week, right? So, but y'all, somebody out there, or you heard something, just have a gut feeling about something and you're afraid to come forward. Here's the deal. You come forward, you reach out to Jim and I through the anonymous line. It not going to give you up. And we'll never release your name or your information to anyone, including law enforcement, unless you want us to. But just give us the information. Let us do what we do, and let's find out what happened to Miss Barbara Blunt. And it's just so important. Think about it if it was your mama or your sister or your aunt or your grandmother, and she'd been missing all these years. Think about what this family suffers daily, and we'll get with them, and you'll get to hear directly from them. Because imagine your mama being gone, vanished. And she was a widower, correct? Her husband got killed in 2004 in an accident. So what you know, people. Do the right thing, come forward. You did not have to put your name to it. I will never divulge it. I don't have to. But we need your information. And yours might be that little hunch you had about so-and-so way back when or whatever, or the little statement someone told you. No tip is too small, y'all. Anything, I don't care how crazy you think it might sound in your head or whatever, send it to us, okay? We can do this. We can find out what happened to Miss Barbara Blunt.
And I want to say something on that too. You're exactly right. No tip's too small.
That's right.
A lot of people, unfortunately, they'll say things like, "Well, you know, I thought I seen her, or maybe she was with somebody, but I didn't. I wasn't really sure." It doesn't matter. If you think that you know something, or you think that you may know who's involved, or anything, we need that information. I mean, we do have tools to be able to help us to verify if what you've seen is true, but we have to have that information to follow up on. And the old saying in law enforcement, we're only as good as the information we receive sometimes, and we need that information no matter how small.
That's exactly right. And y'all, like on Courtney's case, it was all the small pieces that all the different individuals sent in that we were able, Jim and I were able to piece together. Me with the boots on the ground Jim doing the analytical work. We were able to piece it together. And of course, Sheriff, we were getting like 150 calls a day. And I mean, as you know, we had to, just like we're not law enforcement anymore, but we didn't have any help. We didn't have, certainly, people that were willing to help us if we needed it, et cetera. Right. So we did it. And as you know, sometimes cases roll when you're looking at one person really hard, and it just totally ended up being something totally different, right? But it all came, y'all, from the different lifers given the different, and it started with the smallest piece of information, and that went to another piece, and that went to another piece. But you know what? I'm telling you, you're older now. If you knew something back in the day, you know, you probably have kids of your own or a family of your own, and that's what happened in Courtney's case. And people started coming forward. They were thinking, "Oh my God, you know what? I held on to this all these years. It was just a thought." And y'all, we got to do it for Miss Barbara Blunt. Hey y'all, you know, true crime is my passion, but even I need a break every once in a while. When I do, my go-to refresher is the game Best Fiends. It's challenging, y'all. It's puzzles. It has a story, and it engages your brain. It's really fun. Best Fiends updates their game monthly with new levels and new events, so it never gets old. And right now I'm on level 12, and I'd be on level 13 if my phone battery hadn't died from me playing Best Fiends so much. It doesn't require the internet to play. You can play it on the airplane, in the doctor's office, wherever. And y'all, the characters in the game are mostly bugs, and the antagonists or the bad guys in the games are slugs. Engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters. Trust me, with over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must-play. Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends. All right, we got to do it for this family. Put yourself in their shoes. I know it's one thing when I'm sitting here talking to the sheriff today about it, and we're talking about the base facts of the case, but when you hear this family's pain, just like you heard us do in the past, when you hear the real pain, right? And Sheriff, I know you know this family, and that they're tore up.
They are. I mean, it's just, I mean, you can only imagine what they're going through. I mean, I've been around them, and I have detectives that have became real close to them.
Right.
I mean, they're on a first name basis.
Sure.
It's just, it's very sad to watch this go on. And again, that's our motivation is to get that closure.
And they live with it every day, every minute of every day. And so, what if it was your mama or your family member? But I tell you this, Sheriff, we'll either solve it or I'm going to die working on it of old age.
I know you will.
Not ever going to get off of it. So I really appreciate it. And y'all, again, this is a whole different ballgame. I think we're like 99% ahead of where we started in past cases. We have the level of professionalism, and the work has been impeccable. And I'm not just saying that because I know those guys, and And I met with them for many hours the other day at your office, and they're just like you. I mean, this is the one that eats them, right?
It does. And look, you've seen the case file. It's
huge.
Because
That's right,
every
absolutely.
year there's something that goes on, and it's just
so much.
There's so much information.
And so y'all, what we're doing today, again, announcing the case. I know a lot of y'all have been waiting on it, so we're going to start putting it out more and more. But you can start calling now, and I'll get the tip line in on the show notes, and we'll have it on the social media and everything. But we need you to share it. Share the episode, get it out. Sheriff, I think we're going to do some stuff with media and push out even further. Share it. And the more it gets out there, the more will come through. But I don't know. I just really appreciate you being a visionary and stepping outside the box like this. All right. And I promise you that we're going to do the best that we can, and we're not going to get off of it. And again, y'all, for a man in his position to put aside anything, whatever, you heard it. It's not about pride or whatever. It's about finding out what happened to Miss Barbara Blunt. And I think that's huge. I think it speaks volumes to you.
Yeah, sometimes we get, you said it earlier, again, it's easy to get tunnel vision on these cases.
Sure.
And you get on one track.
Right.
And you can miss things.
Right.
And I've learned over the years, don't ever get tunnel vision.
Right.
Even if the evidence is leading one
Right.
way, don't get tunnel. If you get that tunnel vision, you're going to miss things.
Yeah.
And in this case, we were very good about not getting tunnel vision because there wasn't no way to get tunnel vision.
That's right.
But where I'm at today is I want to go as far out of the box as I have to.
Sure.
To utilize whatever tools necessary, which we have been doing. This is a new tool to us.
Right.
And what you guys are doing, I think, is phenomenal.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
reaching
that.
out to a crowd, and a lot bigger crowd, and getting their attention.
Right.
And the family deserves this.
Right. And so I won't take much more of your time, but man, I really appreciate you, and it's huge. I just thank you for it. I really do, and I hope, I pray that we can get the closure, and this won't be keeping you up at night anymore, right?
And I appreciate it. I know you and Jim both, and I've worked the streets with y'all, so I know your capabilities, and I know you have the knowledge, and having the outreach that you do is hopefully going to bring some kind of closure to this case. I'm excited anytime we get any kind of information. That we may not have information on this particular case, what we're doing, but I just have a feeling that this is going to lead to a lot more information.
Right. And then, y'all, again, I want to thank you, Sheriff, for being here. You took the time out of your day to drive to meet us at the studio and everything else. And, you didn't have to do that. But, again, it goes to show how much you care and how much you want to solve this case. And we appreciate it. And lifers, we're really going to be doing a lot more on this. We're just scratching the tip of the iceberg. But somebody knows what happened to Miss Barbara Blunt. Somebody knows. Let's bring it home. Spread it. There's power in the word. Spread it, and more people will come forward, and we can do this and bring it home. Find out what happened to Miss Barbara Blunt. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. I posted on social media big news for Real Life, Real Crime this week, and I'm about to drop it on you. We are officially announcing the Real Life, Real Crime First Offense Tour. It's going to be amazing, y'all. Our first show date is at the world-famous House of Blues in New Orleans, Louisiana on April the 4th. We're going to be doing a live podcast and followed with an intimate acoustic set of Tomplay, a performance by Tomplay, and y'all know who they are, the official recording artist for Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. All right, the House of Blues, y'all. Let me tell you about the show. It's going to be only 250 seats. It is an intimate setting. The very front of the venue by the stage is going to have 10 4-top tables, and then I forget the amount of 2 top tables, which will have wait staff that'll be serving them their drinks, etc. And they're right there by the stage. And behind that, there will be a section of like theater seating, and behind that, a section between the theater seating and the bar that's a standing area only. And of course, the ticket prices will vary accordingly. You get what you pay for, right? And those tickets go on sale on March the 3rd through Ticketmaster. You will actually be able to go in and pick out on the map in the theater or in the House of Blues Parish room where you want to sit. After the show, of course, we'll be signing autographs and taking pictures with the fans. Again, March the 3rd, Ticketmaster. They are going to sell out. I bet you they sell out in 24 hours or less. So don't miss it. Now, our second stop, if you will, on the First Offense tour is in Alexandria, Louisiana, on April the 17th at the Alexandria Convention Hall. Now, this is a big one, y'all. We're going to do a full live podcast, theater seating, 750 people. Okay, it's going to be a great crowd. We're going to have alcohol vendors going to be there, but you will have seats. And when we get done, we're going to be followed up immediately by the Chase Tyler Band. And y'all know who Chase Tyler is. If you don't know, he's one of the hottest up-and-coming country performers in this area. And in fact, last year he was inducted into Louisiana Country Music Hall of Fame. So he puts on a hell of a show. So you get real life, real crime, and then you're going to get the Chase Tyler Band. They're going to rock it, and we'll have that convention hall blowing it up. And we also are going to have hotel rates, special hotel rates through the Holiday Inn, which is connected to the convention hall, so you don't have to drive anywhere. Again, huge performance, huge crowd, huge party on April 17th. Now, the third stop on the First Offense tour is April the 18th at the world-famous Tin Lizzie's Bar on the Tickfall River. Now, y'all heard me talk about swamp bars in all the episodes. Tin Lizzie's is probably the oldest and the first and original swamp bar, okay? And I'll be there doing what I do. And when I get done, the Chase Tyler Band will be taking the stage and rocking the house all night long. And included in your ticket fee is a huge plate of, I think it's going to be pastelaya, y'all. And for y'all outside of Louisiana that don't know, that's just jambalaya without the rice with the pasta in it. But it's going to be a kick-ass, great time, so you don't want to miss it. Get your tickets by going to eventbrite.com for both the Alexandria show on April the 17th and for Tin Lizzie's on April the 18th. And these tickets go on sale today. All right, y'all, check this out. The First Offense tour continues throughout the summer. We will be going to Dallas, Texas, the Big D. Dates to be announced soon. Then we're going to be bringing the First Offense tour back home to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to our people. A huge show, huge venue. Dates to be announced on March the 9th. We're going to do a never-before-heard live podcast, and then the Chase Tyler Band will be taking the stage and rocking the house for our hometown crew. Next up, Houston, Baytown area. Dates to be announced soon. And the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, one of my favorite places in the world. Dates to be announced soon. And we're likely going to have more cities, and we'll announce those locations and the dates as soon as we can lock them up. I just want to give another shout out and thanks to Sheriff Jason Ard for coming in today. It really means a lot, Sheriff. We appreciate you. And for everybody else, all you patron members, you know we love and appreciate you so much. We love all our members, and y'all please keep liking us and sharing us. You're making us grow huge. It's so very important. And Till next time or ever, don't let me catch you down on Murder by You. Peace.
Get ready, you're gonna do time. Real life, real crime.